Welcome to the final edition of the Robby Gordon season mode. Today's edition brings us to Homestead-Miami Speedway, the site of the 10th and final race of the Chase for the Sprint Cup. Last time out at Phoenix, I successfully executed Operation Spingate, wrecking myself on lap 25, somehow confusing my competitors into believing they had to pit again, and I personally never pitted and ended up winning. And following that farce of an event, we now have a 175-point advantage above second-place point man Jeff Gordon. As you can tell, we've already won the championship. We actually clinched it with 3 races to go. Jeff Gordon, on the other hand, has almost completely clinched second position in points, because he has a 43-point advantage above his teammate Jimmy Johnson. So pretty much, Gordon would have to finish last and Johnson would have to win for Johnson to take over second. Dale Earnhardt Jr. sets 4th in points, Brad Keselowski 5th, Greg Biffle in 6th, Dennis in 7th, Marcos moved his way up into 8th position last time out, Carl Edwards 9th, Martin Truex Jr. 10th, McMurray 11th, and Matt Kenseth still the worst man in the chase. Kyle Busch is currently the best of the rest. Travis Pastrana still sets 20th. David Reagan, with his 5th place finish last time out at Phoenix, still sets 27th, but has closed the gap up to names like Stenhouse and Menard. Travis Kvapil only has 1 chance left to get a top 10, and Joe Nemechek has a 34-point advantage in NASCAR. And so anyway, unlike Phoenix, today we move on to a track that I don't hate. In fact, I love Homestead-Miami. It's up there with my top 3 favorite racetracks. With this being the last race of this whole series, last race of Robby Gordon's career, already coming into this with a championship, there's only one goal, and that one goal is to go out on top and ride right into the Miami sunset.
This race could be the one that makes you the champion, buddy. Just go out there and do your best.
All right, so I do have a custom setup ready, and I'm also going to qualify on the same setup that I'm going to race on, so I'm probably not going to qualify anywhere near, pole or anything. But I'm pretty comfortable with this setup. I think it's going to be good enough to win with. The only concern is, just like Phoenix, actually, right rear tire wear.
Okay, buddy. A good qualifying session can make your life much easier come race day. Give it your best shot.
Okay, this is the last time we get to go out to qualify, and of course I almost stalled the car. I absolutely love Homestead-Miami Speedway. Progressively banked. Get to run right up by the wall, and that's where I'm going to be pretty much all race long. This car, the way I have it set up, is not going to work very well on the bottom. I can't run that type of Harvick line, so I got to get right by the fence. So we got 1 lap with a decent chance of qualifying good. Second lap, there's going to be hardly anything left. Got through 1 and 2 pretty decent. Okay, so here we come. I'm going to try to cut across the front stretch. And that's all I got. 11th.
One more good lap. Come on, push it.
All right, so it looks like Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to win the last pole of the season. And that's like, what, his 8th pole? I mean, he's won a lot of them. In fact, he's going to bookend the year because he won the Daytona 500 pole.
Okay, good job. Don't worry about it, buddy. Let's get this car ready to race.
Come to a stop.
Not bad. Top 20 gives us a good chance to make up ground on race day quickly.
Earnhardt Jr. on pole, Martin Truex Jr. in 2nd. This is the last chance we're going to have to even run into each other. Kyle Busch 3rd, Gordon 4th. Good starting spot to try to claim that 2nd place spot in points. Stewart 5th. You got Jimmy Johnson 7th. Kenseth in 9th. Travis Pastrana starting 14th, so at least I out-qualified him. Marcus Ambrose in 16th. I would love to see him finish 8th where he's at right now or better in the chase grid. David Reagan qualifies 30th. Travis Kvapil 39th. 2.2 seconds off. And finally, Joe Nemechek dead last, more than 2.5 seconds slower than the pole time.
I don't want to pressure you, but I want you to remember that you could be the champion today. You've worked hard, you've earned this, now go out and claim your prize.
Hello everyone, Mike Joy with Darrell Waltrip at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Time to decide the Sprint Cup champion in today's Ford 400.
Mike, this is it. This is what it's all about. You come here, and when this race is over with, you know who the champion's going to be. This is a big weekend for these drivers.
Variable banking, 2-groove racetrack, and in 2011 we had a tie here for the championship.
And we may very well have another one, Mike. This is the most exciting race of the year. It's what it all comes down to.
36 races, the longest season in all professional sports. And Darrell, it all comes down to this, the Ford 400.
Boogity, boogity, boogity! Let's go, champ! championship racing, boys and girls. Keep your head down, buddy. It's gonna be a bit crazy out there. Top 5, here we come. Outside.
I wanted to pull a slide job on Kurt, just wasn't quite good enough. Made it happen there.
Clear left.
Okay, so a slight concern in this race is if we keep running in traffic, maybe overheating the engine.
Rear.
Working our way past Kenseth.
Way to go, buddy.
Fastest lap for a
Right now.
fraction of a second. Josh Wise, fastest man in Homestead.
Bunch of mirrors. Come
Not what I expected.
looking high.
Also, an important thing about this track is the AIs check up big when they're running the top coming off turn 2. It's a good passing opportunity. Slide job.
One working the top. Clear up high.
He crossed me over, but I still wanted the top, so it worked out.
2 inside.
I think that's Truex way up by the fence. He's going to check up off 2. See, there it is.
Inside.
Okay, that worked. I know I said I don't want to run the bottom, but I have to do this.
At your door. Up top at your door. Looking inside.
Oh, right. That did not lead to a wreck.
Inside's clear.
Brad jumped right up in front of me. There we go.
Clear on the inside.
Threading some needles.
He's coming
I
on the
did not
inside.
want Dennis to take the top with me.
R2 back. Left side's clear.
There we go.
Keep rolling.
Bump and run always
Right
works.
side's clear.
Old reliable. All right, so my main concern now becomes right rear tire wear, that we've kind of settled into a bit of a pace, because I need to make it out to lap 26 with the right rear still on the car. Okay, up into the top 5.
Clear on the low side.
It's really weird how, I can roll the top so well, and the AIs keep just committing to the bottom because they check up so much when they run the top.
That's it.
It's really strange.
Car inside.
There we go, up to second.
Car inside at your door. Clear on the inside. Keep high. Keep high.
And I really overcooked one. Reddick lining.
Clear low.
There we go. Topside momentum to the lead at Homestead.
Low side's clear.
So I'm going to try to run a few more laps at, full pace. Then I'm going to start backing it down just a little bit. Really flirting with that outside wall. I've got a couple laps in, and I'm out to about a 1 second advantage above Earnhardt. If I can make it to lap 13 with the right rear tire at about half wear, then I don't even really have to back the pace down because I'll be right in the tire window. I'm still fairly impressed with how well I'm keeping the right rear tire on this. That ain't going to help tire wear. I mean, if this was real, I would have just put the right front fender right on the tire.
Doing great. Nice and steady. Second place is way back.
All right, so now I'm going to start saving just a little bit because I can get away with it. A little bit of wall contact for the road. It's kind of ironic, considering that this racetrack is one of the best for passing, that it looks like the AIs are just staying single file on the bottom.
Okay, let's use that clean air.
Oh, look, somebody almost trying to pass Earnhardt. Got a bit of a race going on now. Mark Martin. And I am hitting the wall. But Mark's the fastest guy on the track. Set the fastest lap, now up to second. He might actually be legitimate contention.
We can do this all day.
Wait a minute, wouldn't this actually be Mark Martin's last career start? I think he's trying to go out on top. One difference between this track and the rest of the mile and a halves in this game is, if you notice, sure, I'm still leading, but I'm not leading by a country mile. I'm only leading by about 1.2 seconds. And they're keeping the gap pretty stable at that. Almost mowed the fence down there. So we are very much nearing the pit window within the next 6 or so laps. Kyle Busch going to second. And I overdrove 3 again. I have to step on it on this lap.
No one's going to touch you out here today.
As Kyle Busch is gaining on me. I imagine some folks will be hitting the pits within the next lap or two. Now that I really got moving again, I've put a couple tenths on Kyle Busch. Making the right rear tire pretty upset at me, but we're at least gapping him. Oh, now we got cars in the pits. This is the beginning of the pit window. I'll be coming in at the end of lap 26, and that's it. I do not have to pit more than once. And Kyle Busch has pitted. And quite a bit of the field.
30 to go. 3-0.
Matt Kenseth takes over second for now. Getting pretty good at running up by the fence. Matt Kenseth pits. Earnhardt Jr. stays.
Okay, let's use that clean air. Keep digging.
I'm going to be pitting in 2 laps. Couldn't quite Reddick my way out of that one. Glad I didn't wreck myself, but I sure lost a lot of time doing that. Okay, so Earnhardt Jr. also pits. I'm going to run this lap and then come down. Jeff Burton takes over second. By the way, running by myself's keeping the engine pretty cool as well. I might even be able to put tape on. All right, so let's see how pitting here works. Here we go. Going to step on the brakes right there. And there we go.
Looks like you're running on empty. Let's fill her up for starters. Let's get those tires off. Okay, let's do this.
This should be the last pit stop of the year. And the final time for our pit crew to shine. Tony Stewart just set the fastest lap.
Let's go to work, boys. Here we go.
I'm going to super cheatily merge like this.
Closing up top. Car
And
inside.
there we go.
Get to your corner. Car outside. At your door. Keep it steady.
Edwards almost put the bumper to me.
One outside.
So anyway, we lost a little bit of track position, but that's because not only did I run long, but I also almost wrecked myself that one time. Slide job on Gordon. All right, so we're back up into third, and all I have to pass at this point is Mark Martin and Kyle Busch. And I don't think that's going to be too difficult. Especially with them running the bottom. I don't know why these AIs do not know how to rip the fence. It's the only way to make time at this place. Now up to second.
Clear.
Oh, I tied Stewart's lap. I wanted the fastest lap in the final race. Looks like I'm not going to get it. Really, really flirting with that wall.
Put it on the left.
That's as close as you could get without just wiping yourself out on the wall there.
Car in front's heading to the pit.
Car in front's headed to the pit. Better not be Kyle.
That's my man right there. We can do this.
Yeah, I'm way overdriving the car just to try to set the fastest lap. That grip is not there anymore. And there we go. To the lead.
Outside.
And thankfully, Josh Wise gave me a lane. And so Joe Nemechek. And
Inside.
screwed over Kyle Busch. Because Kyle took the bottom. Brilliance. Nemechek even pitted. Now I bet all that was accomplished with bribes. I was trying to corner underneath him, but just didn't have the grip. I put a 1.5 seconds advantage on Kyle Busch now, as we have 20 laps left. But I do have to save a little bit of fuel to get to the finish. Looks like I've already saved the amount of fuel I needed. I just took one, like half a lap where I just lifted
Whatever you're doing, you just keep doing it.
really, really super early like this. And I'm already in the fuel window. There's like quite a few people who I think are already doing double stops. And I really hope that Kyle Busch is not going to be one of them. Because it would be cool to have just like a little bit of pressure to win the last race, even though we already, won the championship like 3 weeks ago. I've just been, running out here by myself, taking in the view, I guess you could say. And the gap between me and Kyle Busch is pretty much stagnant, about 1.5, 1.6 seconds. As you can tell, I've definitely saved enough gas to get myself to the finish. And I think at this point I've saved the right rear tire enough. We have 4 cars in the pits this time by. Oh, geez. I think it's going to be one of those races where everybody does the double stop. I really don't want it to be, but it looks like it's going to be. Bobby right here has taken the top, so that means he's going to check up massively off 2. And there it was. You see, at this point, I'm so conditioned to the AI's, like, stupidity. That's why I wanted to do Phoenix the way I did.
Now you're clear.
Is just to prove that once you run, 30 or so races against these AIs, you know how to screw with their mental state. All right, so the gap between me and Kyle Busch is now almost 2 seconds. So it is getting barely bigger. There's Stremme, cut right up in front of me. I'm going to bump draft him.
10 to go.
Now down to 10 laps left. I'm easily good to go on fuel, and the right rear tire is still looking pretty good. Yeah, there is a lot of cars on pit road this time by. It really does look like the field's doing a double stop. And that's an unfortunate way to end the season. Again, you have to imagine yourself from the perspective of ESPN and ABC having to cover this championship. You got a driver who's clinched a championship in the chase format with 3 races to go. Kyle Busch just pitted.
Side's clear.
And I now have a 5-second almost advantage above Carl Edwards. And this whole season's just been a complete and total wash. So, by the way, Carl Edwards did not pit that time. So, he might maybe try to go all the way to the finish. Who really knows, though? David Stremme's on fresh tires, and I'm still about to pass him, really.
5 to go. You have fun out there?
And there goes Biffle. He just pitted. Earnhardt Jr. now to second. He's trying to take 3rd place back in the standings. I don't know how many times I'm going to bump draft David Stremme. I think I'm just going to pass him.
Go down low. Clear right. Closing on the bottom. 1 inside.
There we go. I'm clear of the 30 now.
4 to go.
4 laps left. Earnhardt Jr. has pitted. And I am
Going back. Coming low.
wrecking myself again.
Your left side.
At least I didn't wreck. And I am still going forward. And so this time by, I'm going to put the whole field down a
Ready to
lap.
go.
3 laps left. And I'm the only car on the lead lap. Trying to go out on top. Kyle Busch has taken over second, by the way.
2 to go.
2 laps left. And I'm really getting sick of seeing this 30 car. I'm getting in there.
Left side's clear.
Really don't even want to have to see Stremme again. All right, here we come. White flag, races official, last lap of the series.
This is what we work for. You got it. You can't stay out there on those tires any longer.
I know the tires are worn. It's going to be the last set I'm ever going to run. Not even going to conserve any through 3 and 4. Here we come for our 35th win on the season. Robby Gordon has won the championship.
The best driver, the best car, excellent job. All day long. Way to get it done, man.
It's been a very dumb season.
Soak it up, man.
We now have
Great
claimed
job today.
35 wins. in 36 races. You can't make this crap up. I couldn't have wrote this any better. This is the way to leave the sport on top, I'm telling you. It is perfection. A Ford has won every single race this season. Me everywhere, except for one, and that was won by David Reagan. A season of underdogs, and one absolutely dominated by Ford. And I've just blown out the right rear, didn't I? Yes, I have. We have broken so many rules and so many records this season. It is remarkable. And you know I'm going to blow up this car on this one. I'm not going to be stupid like how I was at Phoenix and just ram the wall and get nothing out of it. This car will be flaming. And there we go. That is the completed victory lap. And I got to find something really hard to hit. I'm digging into the dirt again, and I actually missed it. There we go. We're going to give everybody a smoke show.
You're the man.
That's it. We are done. The series is over. Robby Gordon's career is complete. 35-win season. We've broken every rule. We've successfully spin-gated. We've destroyed the field on numerous occasions. And no matter what, we've come out on top. And that is how you park into Champions Victory Lane. On fire, literally, and your 35th win.
Awesome performance. You really gave those fans a show today.
That's another win, but more importantly, it's our last one. 35th win on the season. The championship is sealed. Kyle Busch ended up finishing second, more than a lap behind. Stewart third, Edwards fourth. Trevor Bayne somehow got fifth. Mark Martin in his final career start got sixth. Very fitting, considering how long he ran the number 6. Biffle in 7th, Kenseth in 8th position, Jeff Gordon 9th, Jimmy Johnson 10th. So that means Jeff Gordon has finished runner-up in the standings. Another fruitless drive for 5. Earnhardt Jr. in 13th, Dennis in 16th position, Marcos in 22nd, Travis Pastrana 24th, David Reagan in 33rd, Travis Kvapil 37th, the only man in the field not to get a top 10 this whole season. Michael McDowell got last, Josh Wise second to last, and believe it or not, Joe Nemechek finished 41st. Still going to claim NASCAR. And so, the series has concluded. We end the 2013 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series season with 35 wins in 36 races and 6 poles. We conclude the year with 188 points above Jeff Gordon, who claimed second. Jimmy Johnson ended up third. Dale Earnhardt Jr., with 6 poles as well, ended up fourth. Greg Biffle climbed his way back up into the top 5. Dennis moved his way up to 6th. Brad Keselowski fell down to 7th. Carl Edwards moved up to 8th position. Martin Truex Jr. also went up to 9th. Marcos at least closed the top 10. Matt Kenseth didn't finish last. Somewhat of an accomplishment. And Jamie McMurray rounds out your chase grid in 12th. Kyle Busch ends the season best of the rest, 13th in points. Jeff Burton ends his full-time career 18th in the point standings. Ryan Newman ends his tenure at SHR 17th. Travis Pastrana ends his first Cup season with the top 20 in points. Mark Martin's final year ends up 21st. Juan Montoya's final year ends up 22nd. David Reagan, 4 top 10s, 1 win, 27th in points at the end of the year. Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s first season got him 26th in points, and by the way, Danica got 28th in points, which actually means the Rookie of the Year award winner is Travis Pastrana. Travis Kvapil absolutely did not score top 10 this season, and Joe Nemechek closes out the year as the NASCAR champion. Well, this has been quite the series, quite the journey overall. Soon I'm going to begin a kind of next chapter for Speed Station as a channel. There's going to be a lot more new content coming up over the course of the next month or so, but I very much hope that you enjoyed this series. It served as a bit of a break for me. I decided to start doing this right after I actually recovered from COVID, just as something fun to do, and ended up taking on a pretty interesting lore. I've told this story before, but this was a NASCAR game I got back when it was new in 2013 and never really played it until this year. And that's just because at the time I didn't have a computer that could run it. Luckily enough, though, this game has kind of taken on a second life as of late. NASCAR The Game 2013's kind of been in vogue, I guess you could say, as people finally now realize how buggy and screwed up and weird this game is, and it makes for an enjoyable time if you just want to screw around with it. I hope you didn't take this playthrough seriously. I know I didn't. I just wanted to see how much I could screw with this game overall. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I've got a Patreon set up as well. I'm glad to have finally gotten my money's worth out of this game. Got it 9 years ago and finally now played all the way through it. The next video I plan on making, in fact, is a kind of channel update / announcement video explaining what my plans are for the next year or so. So anyway, stay tuned for new content. I hope you enjoyed watching this series as much as I did making it. And so I leave you with this. Following the conclusion of the 2013 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series season at Homestead-Miami Speedway, NASCAR announced that Robby Gordon Motorsports and all employed members of the team would be suspended indefinitely after the team incurred an estimated 100-plus penalties over the course of the year. Penalties include modification of fuel cell, reckless driving, endangerment of others because of the flaming race cars, spin gate at Phoenix, and a numerous other atrocities that have led to this ruling. It turns out that it was a business plan by RGM to win at all costs, no matter the penalty. The amount of winnings that they had earned this year from victories and titles, not to mention numerous sponsorship deals, appearances, and other money-making opportunities that they capitalized on, it allowed them to take the penalties, pay them off, and still turn a profit. The most incredible example of this win-at-all-costs mentality is the espionage that they performed against rival teams such as Hendrick Motorsports, Joe Gibbs Racing, and Roush Fenway Racing, even going as far as stealing components to then reverse-engineer them and put them to use on track. Those cases were settled out of court, which further shows the success of their financial plan. In response to the landslide championship victory scored by Robby Gordon, clinching the title with 3 races to go in the chase format, NASCAR has announced a plan to rework the chase system for 2014. The plan is to bump the chase grid up to 16 cars, introduce a win-and-you're-in system, and an elimination format that eliminates 4 cars per every 3 races, with it culminating in a 4-car race for the championship at Homestead. It is estimated that Robby Gordon Motorsports leaves the 2013 season still with many millions of dollars gained as profit from the year, and the team has announced that they had no intentions of competing in NASCAR in the future regardless of these suspensions. NASCAR, in an attempt to save face, is allowing RGM to keep all the honors that come with their 35 victory and championship winning season, as NASCAR has made a clear promise to the fans that whoever crosses the finish line first is the winner, and that no disqualifications will occur no matter the penalties that a team receives. Needless to say, RGM abused this system to its limit. Where are they now? Well, when RGM's pit crew was suspended, they were ultimately seen worldwide as one of the greatest and most consistent pit crews ever assembled, as they were capable of completing more than 100 stops in one single season and never made a mistake. As evident of their successes, their most recent triumph together was the 2021 Formula One World Championship as a percentage of Red Bull's pit crew. Ironic that it's a rival energy drink company from Speed. What about the unnamed encouraging spotter, referred to as Dr. Wu? Quite frankly, we haven't seen him since Homestead in 2013, and your guess is about as good as mine of where he went. Ray Evernham eventually ended up as a co-founding member of the Superstar Racing Experience, and later had his suspension from NASCAR removed as he was hired for an R&D position. Considering that he was a master of bending the rulebook, he was the perfect man to bring on board to find out who is and is not cheating. Finally, Robby Gordon himself went on to forming the series of his dreams, the Speed Energy Stadium Super Trucks, a perfect combination of speed, energy, stadiums, super, and trucks. Oh, and don't forget about the jumps. And in the end, NASCAR never really recovered from the 2013 season. The horrific publicity from the whole ordeal and boring racing to boot made it not only hard to watch, but severely detrimental to the sport's public image. Regardless of how this ends up for NASCAR or anyone involved, there's only one thing for certain. Robby Gordon's 2013 35-race winning and championship earning season happened, and it's just something we all have to deal with.